Hi, I wanted to come on and make this quick little video. I got this book in the mail and I forget where it came from, but it was like one of those promotionals, like, please support us kind of thing. And I realized that this book is just like a small journaling book that is only stapled, and it's stapled here through the cover. And so I got to looking at this and I thought this is the perfect size little journal to put in the pocket in a folio, or like a loaded tag or loaded envelope or things like that. So I wanted to make one. I wanted to make two different ones for folio books that I'm making. So I made this one and it turned out it was so easy to make. So I figured I should come on here and show you guys how to make this. This is the perfect little thing to journal. So what I did was I took just a regular piece of notebook paper, 3-ring binder notebook paper. You can do the college rule or the wide rule. The college rule would probably be better because the college rule has thinner spaces. This wider space doesn't really leave a whole lot of journaling space. So what I did was I lined up this red line along the edge here, and I just cut that off. And then I flipped over the paper because the other side also has that same line. And so again, I cut that off. So you're just removing these two strips and discarding them. We don't need them for this. If you want to save them for another project, you're obviously welcome to do that, but we don't need them for this project. Then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut off this top piece because we don't really need that either. And what I did was I cut it just above the first line so that the first line can be seen in the book. And again, I just discard this as well. So the next step I did was I took this piece that is now trimmed down, and I'm sorry I don't have the measurements. I guess I could measure real quick. It ends up being almost 6 inches across by a little over 9.5 inches long. Now your paper might be different, especially if you're in another country. Your paper measurements might be a little bit different. So the thing that I did next was I took this piece and I folded it directly in half. And then I opened it and I cut exactly on that line. Now you'll notice that the fold line is almost center of a line. It's not on the line, and that's okay because then you'll have a little on the bottom and a little on the top of each book. So I put that into my guide and cut this in half. And now I have two pieces. And so what I end up doing is then I turn it this direction. So now it measures 6 by 4 3/4. So along the 6 edge, I fold it in half so that it's 3 inches wide now. And so now you have just this little book. Make sure when you fold it that you fold it to where your lines, how you would write, because if you fold it this way, then obviously you can't write on it. So make sure that you fold it this direction. Sorry for the background noise. The heater kicked on. It's kind of chilly here. So now you have 2 of these from one piece of paper, and you can do this however many times you want to get the number of pages you want for your booklet. So then you just put them together by opening one and sliding the next one in. So you see I've done this several times here. This is my center one. And I even added a piece of colored cardstock that's plain on one side and colored on the other, just to break it up and give it some dimension. And so this particular book that I'm doing has 1, 2, 3, the colored paper, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 pieces in here. So then what you're going to do is you're going to make the cover. And the cover is just a thicker cardstock or paper. It doesn't matter what you make it out of. This one I made out of cardstock, so it's a little thicker, and I really like that. But because of the particular book that I'm making, I'm using this paper. And I'm sorry I don't have the name of this. I'll link it into the description below, but it's an older pad. It's one that I've had for a while and never did anything with it, and I'm finally using it, so I don't even know if it's available anymore. But I'm using this, and so it's just thin paper. But what I want to do is I want to measure the book and make sure. So you measure from where you would cut out, and so this ends up being 6, and this ends up being a little less than 5, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it at 5 so that the cover overhangs just a tiny bit. And so I'm going to cut it just over 6, and I'm not going to cut all the way up. I don't know if you know this, but you're on the side here of your clear guard is another ruler, and so you can see where you are cutting to. So I'm only going to cut to 5. Because that's where I want my page to stop. So here's 5, and now I'm going to come down here to 6 because that's where this cut is. And there you go. So you have your piece. So the next thing is, if you're using cardstock, you will need a bone folder, or if you don't have a bone folder, you can use the guide here, and all you do is just take this out, your blade, take it out, and then put your paper in where you want it. So if this is 6, you would want it at 3, and so then you put this down and you run a bone folder, which you can purchase separately from a scoreboard. You don't have to buy them together, or something that you can make your mark. Since this is thin paper, I don't have to use a bone folder. It's going to fold by itself easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just fold this in half like this and give it a good crease. And now I have my pages for my book, or my cover for my book. So now all I'm going to do is just put it in, and you want to make sure that it's a little bit even, but there's what it's going to look like. Super cute. And then you just take a stapler and come up to the fold line and staple your book together. You know, it's not perfect, it's homemade, but there you are. There you have a little journaling book to put in your folios or loaded pockets or loaded envelopes, etc., or some other project that you may have. So I hope that you use this. I hope that you have fun making them, and that you find that it's valuable to your scrapbooking life. Thank you for watching.